That's it. We're live. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Crypto Kindness channel. As always, my name is Jeff, and with me today, I've got a new guest to the channel, Bitcoin Benito. How are you, sir? So, real quick, just give me a little background on yourself. I've watched a few of your streams. You reached out to me and said you wanted to connect, and so I watched a little bit of your streams. How long have you been streaming? How long have you been in, I guess, Pulsechain, PulseX, Hex ecosystem? You do some stuff on Xen too. Give us, maybe a 2 minutes background on your story, because I don't know it well enough.
Yeah. So I've been doing like YouTube and streaming for about a year and a half.
Okay.
Now, then I started getting heavily into Hex and into Xen and Pulsechain about this time last year. Then, I've just always been into the crypto aspect. I got into crypto in 2017. Really got heavily into it. Learned so much about it, spent like 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day learning it. Then around the middle of 2018, everything crashed, or at least for me, I lost all my money in 2018. And I was like, this is terrible. I hate it. I'm never doing this again. So because I was like, I'm never doing this again. So I didn't care about it, didn't think about it until like the end of 2019, the beginning of 2020.
Okay.
So then when I got into 2020, I was like, okay, this is really good technology. Maybe I should start paying attention to it more. So then I started getting more attention to it. And I was like, this is actually perfect. I know I studied it in 2018 and nothing has changed, right? Just the prices have gone down, but the technology is still perfect, still good enough.
That's a really good way to look at it. Most people look at it only for price. I mean, so many, I'll give you a perfect example. We got somebody that was the first, they were here early to say, I can't wait to hear about Hex, another minus 1000x from all-time high. So clearly somebody that's only looking at the chart, only hoping to make $1,000 in the next month or whatever it is, not understanding the technology behind it and what it seeks to do. So, but in looking at your videos and a lot of your conversations, it seems as though like the Richard Heart ecosystem, Pulsechain, PulseX, I got my Pulsechain hat on, is where you're spending the most, I don't know. Based on my observation, it looks like that's where you're spending the majority of your time. Is that correct? Or are you in a lot of other stuff as well?
Yeah, I spend the majority of my time in those ecosystems because one, they're very interesting. And two, I invested a lot of money into Pulsechain and PulseX and all of that and Hex. So I might as well pay attention to what I invested in. And then also Xen too. I've invested a lot into Xen also because I studied it a lot. So I try to, talk about the things I'm interested in.
Nice. Well, exactly. That's the beauty of having a YouTube channel. You get to talk about whatever you want. And surprisingly, the people that listen to your channel try to tell you what you should talk about.
Yeah. So it's like it's like back and forth.
Yeah. It's like, why do you talk about this? It's my channel. If you don't like it, start your own and I'll come harass you. Actually, I won't, because if you're talking about things I don't like, I'm not going to listen, which is another thing I've never fully understood. So when
did you start getting into crypto, or Hex, I guess you should say?
I started getting into crypto in 2017-ish. My story is depressing, and I like to not talk about it as much as possible because it's like the greatest opportunity that was ever served to me. And I said, no, thank you. Long story short, I had a client at the time tell me all about Ethereum, everything about it, when it was $5. Wow. And he said, put some money in this and I promise you'll be happy. And I said, sure. And I tried to do it. And when he told me about it, it wasn't easy to buy Ethereum. You had to wire some money to a guy in New York, and you had to, get a thumb drive in the mail. And I was like, too many layers of friction. And so I waited, and that cost me millions of dollars because I had set aside a significant chunk of resources to invest. And so anyway, 2017, I caught the end of the bull market. The bear market sucked. I left like everybody else did. And when the market got hot again, similar to your story, I was like, okay, this is something that's here to stay. Regardless of price, I'm going to get in, I'm going to learn. And then the same guy that introduced me to Ethereum contacted me. I've stayed in touch with him, even though he's now retired.
In a yacht.
Yes. Or more than a yacht. He's stayed in touch with me, and he said, hey, I know you were frustrated that you missed out on Ethereum. There's another opportunity I think you should get into, and that was Pulsechain. And that's when I said, okay, I'm going to listen this time. And once I actually sacrificed for Pulsechain before I bought Hex, which, you know, hindsight, pretty stupid time to buy Hex, but it is what it is. I learned about it, and you know, I still have all my Hex. I haven't sold any of it. I shouldn't say that. I've sold most of it, but only for tax loss harvesting purposes. I've kept all of the same value of it, I should say. But
Yeah.
so that, I mean, that's kind of my story. So